Without doubt, it's one of the toughest ultra marathons of this length in the world. So being 75 meters in length, having 75 meters in length, that would be amazing. 75 meters in length with 4,421 meters. Now that would be a tough race. Welcome back folks, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope you are all fit and well out there and training hard. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. It's great to have you along, and if you're enjoying what you see, why not hit that subscribe button, come along and join the amazing Run4Adventure family. We'd love to have you. It's a great way of keeping up to date with new content, but don't forget to hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when we upload any new videos. We are back today with our first episode in an exciting new short series at Run4Adventure called Operation Transvulcania. We're going to be bringing you 5 or 6 episodes following our build up to a stunning but tough ultra race on the beautiful island of Palma in the Canaries called Transvulcania, hence the name. We'll be covering lots of different topics in the series, from training for the race day plan including nutrition and hydration. We'll be going into a lot of detail about the kit I'll be carrying and using for the race, and hopefully we'll be bringing you on a few specific training sessions that we've got planned. And the only way we could finish this series is by going out, running the race and bringing you guys one of our race day videos. It's going to be a kind of full circle moment here at Run4Adventure, because when I ran the race last time, Liga just brought me my first GoPro, and it was the first time I ever filmed while running a race. I literally wore a chest strap with the GoPro attached to me for the whole distance, and when we look back at the footage, we just had hours and hours of pretty poor quality, shaky footage of me running with my thumbs up in the air. So over time, I think we've improved our video making skills, shall I say. So hopefully we can produce something a little bit better this time round. So today's episode is going to be an introduction into the series and the race, and we'll also be looking at my history with Transvulcania, or should I say, my painful history with Transvulcania. So let's dive into the video, give you a few stats and details about this beautiful but brutal ultra marathon. Our journey on the day will start at the iconic lighthouse at Fuencaliente at 6 a.m. in the morning before the sun comes up. So picture it, you have 2,000 runners with head torches blazing and the excitement building just before the countdown. And the countdown is done having a big timing clock projected onto a rock face. The gun goes off and it's a bit of a mad, crazy dash around the lighthouse before those 2,000 runners get funneled into a single track. So you can imagine it's a pretty incredible scene, especially when you look behind you and you can see that long snake of head torches zigzagging along the path. The route then takes you all the way along the entire G131 long distance path to Tazacorte, and then from that point you pick up the GR130, the Camino de la Costa, which will carry you all the way to that iconic finish line at Los Llanos. Without a doubt, the race has to be one of the toughest ultra marathons of this distance in the world, with a length of 75 kilometers and an elevation gain of 4,350 meters. So you start off at sea level, 0 meters, and then you work your way all the way up to the highest point at Roque Los Muchachos, which is at 2,421 meters. You take in some breathtaking views along the way. Interesting fact, La Palma has some of the clearest night sky in the world. So as you're making your way up to that highest point, you stumble across lots of space age looking observatories owned by lots of different countries from all over the world. So definitely makes for a very surreal and spectacular view, and a view that you don't get to see that often. As you leave the highest point, the next challenge on this epic race begins, and it is a super steep, super technical 20-kilometer descent all the way back down to Tazacorte. On that descent, you get to take in the amazing zigzag switchback path that's literally cut into a sheer rock face that takes you all the way back down to sea level. And then just when you think it's all over, you can't see any more, the race organisers route you along a dry, unrunnable riverbed of big boulders and then up the last very steep 300-metre climb to the finish. As I'm saying all these details, I'm thinking, God, this race sounds really hard. Why am I doing it? But no, it is one of the most spectacular routes you can ever run and one of the most breathtaking races in more ways than one that you can ever do. Starting in the dark and getting up to the height of around 1,000 metres before the sun comes up, you are super privileged to one of the most spectacular sunrises you'll ever see as you get above the cloud line. On race day, the whole island comes out to support. It really gets behind the race, so whether they're crewing, running the race, or just cheering you along the way, Transvulcania is definitely a bucket list race and we are so excited to be going back. The race is normally run a lot earlier in the year, around the beginning of May, but obviously with everything going on in the world and the pandemic, it got moved back to the end of October. With it being one of the first big sort of ultra marathons of the season and it being tied into the Skyrunning World Series, it normally attracts a stellar field of some of the best mountain ultra runners in the world. Previous winners include Kilian Jornet, Dakota Jones, Anna Frost and Emily Forsberg. Back in 2014, we headed out to Transvulcania for the first time, and this was going to be my first sort of big mountain ultra experience. I was so excited after watching hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos of the race. I'd been running ultras for some time then, I'd even finished a couple of 100-milers, but I really wasn't ready for what was to come. And can you believe it, I didn't even take running poles with me. So to cut a long story short, I made lots of fundamental errors. Didn't have poles, I went off too quick. Can you believe it, forgot my salt tablets and I just didn't drink enough fluids. But I managed to dig deep and get myself to the finish line in just over 13 hours with lots of trauma along the way. I had the worst bout of cramp I've ever had for about 2 hours of the race and it just left me wrecked, to the point where I was having to walk down some of the steep hills backwards because my quads were so trashed. Just to highlight how tough this race is, when you get up to Roque Los Muchachos, they have a big medical tent, and when I made my way up there, every single bed in that medical tent was full of a runner on a drip trying to get fluids in. So a pretty challenging race in some pretty challenging conditions. And the trauma didn't finish then when I crossed the finish line, because I was so wrecked that I couldn't even get myself undressed to have a shower because my body was shutting down. Obviously, I learned a lot that day and I've got a lot more sort of big mountain race experience now, and I know what's coming. So hopefully I can get better prepared and have a much more successful and enjoyable experience this time round. So myself and Liga are heading out for Transvulcania and she'll be taking on the Ultramarathon for the first time. But we've also got John coming, a TNT runner. If you followed the channel, you'll probably recognise him from the Southwest Traverse video. So Transvulcania is going to be his first sort of big mountain race experience and he's super excited about the trip. So there it is, guys, that is Transvulcania, and this is the introduction to our short series, Operation Transvulcania. We've got about 10 weeks to train for the race, so we should be nice and fit and strong by then. And we're actually just about to leave to go out to Chamonix for UTMB week. I'm not actually racing any of the distances this year, but it's going to be a great training ground to get some really good elevation in our legs for the Transvulcania race. Obviously, we're taking the cameras with us. We're going to be filming the whole week and we've got some great video ideas. We're going to be making another UTMB 2021 recap video for the channel, and you know, I just can't wait to get back out in the mountains after missing out last year. We're going to be bringing you guys along and we're going to be making some epic content for the channel. Really hope you've enjoyed this short intro video to the series. It's going to be so good bringing our viewers along on the journey with us all the way to race day. So keep your eyes peeled for other episodes in the series coming to the channel soon. But if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give that like button a smash and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. It's really appreciated. We will see you back here very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running.